This conference will now be recorded.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and you will be answering me what type of services will you use? Right? Think before you answer. I want to calculate area of a 2 number. What type of services will I use? Synchronous or synchronous? Synchronous? Everyone agrees?
Synchronous.
Synchronous. Yes. I want to delete 5 lakh data. Which services will I use?
Batch Apex
Asynchronous.
asynchronous.
Synchronous? Batch.
Synchronous.
Perfect. I want to calculate Donald Trump pension fund, which is very secure and which is very secure and important. Which service will I use?
Future Apex asynchronous.
Wrong.
Batch Apex.
Qubel Apex. Qubel Apex.
Qable. We can track. Yeah. Okay, we have to track.
Future,
Okay.
you don't have tracking. I said important. Moreover, it's a logic. It's not a data processing. And moreover, I didn't set 3rd of December, 5th of Jan. So don't go by schedule. Answer is Qubel Apex, because I use the word important, secure. So whenever it's important and secure, you need to have tracking ID so that you can go and track in the table when the calculation started, when the calculation ended, right? All this information has to be logged. So you will use Qubel Apex, right? I want to send a birthday wish, right? I want to send a birthday wish today or immediately. Which service will I use? I want to send a birthday wish, an email immediately. Which service will I use?
Normal messaging and single messaging.
Why schedule? Why schedule? As I told you that next year I want to send, or 10 years before or after I want to send? No, I said immediately. Immediately we don't use schedule. We use synchronous services, as simple as that. Normal Apex class method we have been writing. Ante. I want to send a birthday wish on 31st of Jan. Then you will use schedule Apex.
Schedule.
Clear? Now, listen it carefully. I want to schedule a job to delete. I want to schedule a job for 31st April 2022 to delete all opportunities less than 100. It has to be deleted when?
We will use batch.
Wait. Listen first. I want to schedule deletion of all opportunities less than 100. Expected data is 5 lakh to 10 lakh. Expected data, this much data I have to delete on 31st, followed by an immediate email, followed by a reminder once again to delete after 6 months: April, May, June, July, August, September, October. In October 31st, I want a reminder email to go out, right? So what should I do?
Schedule Apex and batch Apex.
The first thing that you will use is chaining. Remember that, because you're calling one inside the other, right? And then all these you'll put inside Qubel. Inside Qubel, you will write a schedule Apex. That schedule Apex will call a batch Apex. Batch Apex will have a finish method in that immediate email, right? In the finish method, you will call another schedule. Can I call inside finish method? Can I call a schedule Apex? Yes or no?
Yes.
Ardhamautunda what I'm saying? Sir. Yes or no? Yeah. Right? What is that? Did I save it yesterday? Even demo. What was that? Did I save it or no? Did I save it? Scope matrix insert, delete, convert లేదు. Can I call yesterday's pick? Have you taken? Can I call schedule apex inside batch? Right?
Yes, sir.
So you will be calling inside finish method. In finish method, you will write two things. One immediate email, one schedule for October 31st as a reminder. Ardhamautunda? Because you have to give a reminder, and reminder has to be scheduled when? For October 31st, ko reminder schedule avale. One email has to go out on October 31st saying that 6 months over, please run the cleaning process again. Inkokasari cleaning process run cheyandi. So all this you will put under queuable and you will execute the queuable. Ardhamautunda? These are
Keep
called
it
chaining.
under queuable.
Right. These are called chaining process. Chaining. Right? Let me see whether it is available here or not. No, validation rule. Right. Let me see book one version. Okay. Not available. Leave it. Yep. It's available. Here it is. Right. Can I call inside a batch apex a schedule apex? Yes. You can call in execute method. You can call in finish method. Both two places you can call it. But here I will call in the finish method. After the mail is sent, then I will go ahead and I'll schedule an alert for the 31st of October. Clear? Next, I want to calculate GST collected on complete product. I want to calculate the total GST on the complete product sold for a month, right? I want to calculate a GST on a complete product sold for a month where the calculation is taking time. What will you use?
Queuable.
Queuable?
And
Future apex.
Queuable or future?
Future apex.
First of all agree it's synchronous or asynchronous?
Asynchronous.
Asynchronous. Because it's taking time. When I say taking time, don't put in the synchronous queue because all the others will be waiting behind. So immediately answer is asynchronous. In asynchronous, now confusion. What is the confusion? Whether I should go by future, whether I should go by queuable, right? Because I didn't say important, it's a secure, it's a mandate calculation, then you'll go by the word called as future.
Future.
Future apex. As soon as I start using the word, it's secure calculation, important calculation, mandate calculation. In such case, you will shift to queuable apex because there's a tracking available. Whenever I'm combining 2 or 3 more asynchronous processes together, then you will go by chaining. Chaining can connect synchronous, asynchronous. Both can be mixed together in chaining. Don't think that it's only synchronous, only asynchronous can be called. Yesterday I was showing you batch apex, schedule apex, queuable apex, future apex, all inside queuable. But doesn't mean that queuable takes only asynchronous. Queuable also takes asynchronous and synchronous, both. Right? This you have to by heart. Gurtu bedtara, by heart jestara, that is your wish. In interview, they will ask you this question. Can I call future inside a future? No. Can I call inside a future batch? No. Inside a future, you cannot call a batch. Can I call a batch inside a future? In a batch apex, can I call a future? No. Batch inka future are opposite. Valaki padadi. Gurtu pettukondi. They are always fighting with each other. Remember this very well. Right? Queuable and schedulable are common. Queuable and schedulable are common. They can be called inside anyone. Anyone can be called inside anyone. Remember that. Future and batch are opposite. They cannot be called in each other. But whereas schedule and queuable takes everything. Can a batch call inside a queuable? Yes. Can a batch call inside a future? Sorry. In a schedule? Yes. Can a schedule can be called inside a schedule? Yes. Can you call a schedule inside a Qubel? Yes. Can a Qubel call inside a right batch? Qubel, can a Qubel you can call inside a batch? Yes.
Yes.
Right? You can call it. Inside a batch you can call Qubel. Right? Inside a batch you can't call is only future. You can
Future.
call everything. You can call again a batch inside a batch, but only in the finish method, not in the execute method. But whereas Qubel and schedule can be called inside execute, can be called inside finish. Finish lo kuda call chesukochu, execute lo kuda call chesukochu. Ardhamautunda? Yes or no? You have to remember this table, guys. Based on this, the interview will be placed. Clear? Right? Now, homeworks. Write down. Write down. Number 1, write a batch apex. Write a batch apex to update. Write a batch apex to update all contact. Write a batch apex to update all contact mobile number to 777. Write a batch apex to update all contact I gave or account I gave? Contact I gave. Okay, take account. Write a batch apex to update all account mobile number to 888 where contact mobile number contains 8, where at least one contact mobile number contains 8. Ardhamainda requirement? Account name Bollywood. Bollywood is linked to Shah Rukh Khan. Shah Rukh Khan mobile number is 98862. If one of the contact mobile number contains 8, immediately you will change the account mobile phone number to 88888. Getting it? You have to change, you have to update account phone number to 888 wherever one of the contact mobile number contains 8. Write a batch apex, right? And send a confirmation email towards the end. Everybody can write this? Yes. Everybody can write it. Next, second one, right? Write a batch apex to delete. Write a batch apex to delete all opportunity less than 100. Write a batch apex to delete all opportunities less than 100 and create case. Write a batch apex to delete all opportunity less than $100 and to create case for opportunity amount 100 to 500. For an opportunity amount 100 to 500. Right? Opportunity amount 100 to 500 and schedule right? Schedule on 20th of every month. Every month 20th it has to run automatically. And schedule the job to run 20th of every month for next 100 years. So every month 20, what should happen? System should go ahead, pull the opportunity data, more than 100, create case. Less than 100, delete the opportunity automatically. And email has to go out, confirmation email has to go out. Got it? What you will write now, you decide. Next, write a program write a program to compare, write a program to compare duplicate between contact and lead. Write a program to compare duplicate from contact versus lead. For a contact versus lead, right? Contact versus lead, and send the result through email. Send the result through email. Ardhamainda? Condition: first name match, mobile number match. What is the duplicate definition here? Whenever the contact first name, lead first name matches. Whenever contact mobile number, lead mobile number matches, then it's a duplicate. Those data you have to send me by email, right? And schedule to run on last Friday of every month. Now I'm not giving a date. Last Friday of every month. Every month, last Friday. Every month, last Friday, what has to happen? System has to find a duplicate and it has to send it to me, any email address. Easy? You want homeworks? No? This is the way the real-time task will come. Ilane vastai. You have to do this all. Next, write down. Last one, right? Write a program to fetch all cases, right? To fetch all cases, compare against, compare against contact, compare against account. To fetch all cases, compare against account. Full stop. If more than 2 cases for account, immediately send the details via email. Right? Once again, fetch case data, compare against account, compare against account. If an account has more than 2 cases, okay, account మీద 2 కేసులు ఉన్నాయి, in an open status, then send the details through email immediately. Send the details through email immediately, followed by creation of a task, to solve the cases. That means you'll immediately create a task for that account, followed by creation of task on account to solve the case. ఒక task create చేయడం. Plus schedule a reminder email after 5 days. Schedule a reminder email after 5 days. And check again after 10 days. Cases ఉన్నాయా లేదా? ఒక అకౌంట్ కి 2 cases ఎక్కువ ఉంటే immediate mail పంపటం, you have to send the email immediately, plus create a task, plus after 5 days Okay, reminder email. After 10 days, check again. Cases close ainda leda. Again, this account has more than 2 cases or not. If yes, repeat the task in a cycle. Check after 10 days and repeat the whole task in a cycle. Ardhamautunda? All these things you'll do using programming. I'm not asking you to do workflow. There also you can do this. Schedule, create a task after 5 days, after 10 days. No, not through workflow. You will do with a synchronous, asynchronous services mixed together. Right? Now you decide whether you'll use Qubel, whether you use Future, whether you'll use Batch, whatever you want to use it. Total, I gave you 4 tasks. 4 or 5? 4. Exactly 4 I gave. Right? This 4 will cover all the concepts that we have learned so far. Try to implement. Right? I want each one of you to take up this and show in the class. 5 minutes. Sir, I will show the first one. Show the program, walk it in the class. Ardhamautunda? It's not that this time I will do. This time you will do, and you will come here and you will show for 5 minutes that this is the program. This is what I did as per the task, and others will say correct, right or wrong. Right? I will not say it's right or wrong task. You will decide whether it's a right or wrong. Others will say ala gadu ila jeyale. Right? So that you guys will start understanding what are other opinion also. Wherever I see that things going wrong, I will interfere. Ledu, aine right. No, you are right. That all right and wrong decision I will take. Clear? Got the task? Batch Apex, Schedule Apex, Qubel Apex, Future Apex. Now you decide. I will not tell you. Some places I'm telling you write a batch Apex, but actually I shouldn't be telling that also. Right? Delete all accounts, something like this. Then you will decide by yourself whether I should be taking batch or I should be taking what. Everyone? Got it? Perfect. Right? Shall we proceed? Next. Now, put a heading called as triggers. Put a heading called as triggers. Chiddam, are rara, ante indi exclamation meeda naku ardham kaadu. We will do it. Securing something, we will secure it. Man daggara em ledu to secure. Emundani? We'll secure. Wait, when time comes, I'll teach everything. I'll not let you go empty hand. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now, put a heading called as trigger. Right? Now, everyone, once again, I'm repeating. Next 1 week, you will not bunk the classes. We are in the very crucial stage of your Salesforce course. Right? People who are here now in this 70-80 people, including online, offline, right? Out of these only will get a job. Remaining all sleeping will sleep forever in the class. I'm telling it. 90% of your interview questions will come from batch Apex, schedule Apex. In other words, asynchronous services, triggers. Ide topic. 50 to 60% question will be only on this. Majority of your interview will be on triggers and asynchronous services and classes. Ida penke em ledu. 10% question will be on Visualforce controllers. Right? 10% question on your admin like relationships, right? Like validation rule, permission set, akkadi nunchi. But most of the question will be on triggers. So we are starting triggers. I will take 7 days to complete trigger minimum. I'm not like other trainers who will complete the trigger in 2 days and says over. No, 7 days in depth. Have patience. Slowly you will learn. There are so many thinking you have to do. Going forward class is only thinking in the air. Once again, I'm telling, Gali Alinchi, Programming, you know how to send an email, you know how to insert a data, you know how to update a data, you know how to delete a data, you know. Yes. Now, how to do this, when to call it, is with all these, right? So put a heading called as trigger, start writing, right? Trigger is an Apex code. Trigger is an Apex code that gets executed. Trigger is an Apex code that gets executed before or after. Trigger is an Apex code that get executed before or after a specific DML. Trigger is Apex code that gets executed before or after a specific data manipulation language event occurs. Right? Now first understand what is a trigger. Trigger is Apex program. First understand, not writing. Trigger is a Apex program. Right? This program get fired automatically before or after, either before or after any DML. What are the DMLs we have? Insert, update, delete, undelete, solve. Before deleting, after undeleting. Before insert, after insert. Before update, after update. Anything before or after a DML, whenever you want to execute a program, such programs are called as triggers. Triggers are Apex program that get executed before or after a specific DML event occurs. Once again, I'm reading the definition. Right? What is a trigger? It's an Apex program that gets executed when, before or after a DML event occurs. Whenever a DML happens, right, automatically trigger will be called. Trigger can be called automatically whenever there is a, so for trigger to work, you need DML. If there is no DML, there is no trigger. Trigger are completely dependent on DML. DML means data manipulation. Whenever you hit the save button, what you are doing? You are inserting something. Insert is what? DML. That means trigger can be called. Whenever you select and contact and you say delete, what you are trying to do? You are deleting a record. Delete is what? A DML. That means a trigger can be called there. We can call a trigger there. Right? There is a button called calculate. You hit. Can we call trigger? No, because calculate is not calling any DML. It is calling a logic to calculate greater of 3 number. There you can't call triggers. Why? Because trigger can be called only if the DML is there. If there is no DML, no trigger. I have written a program to calculate greater of 3 number with a button called submit. Can I call trigger in that submit button? In interview they'll ask. Answer is no, we cannot. Why? Because that submit button is actually calling the method. In the method there's a logic. There is no DML called insert. There is no DML called. If the button is calling a logic and logic is calling insert, then you can call trigger. Trigger can be called only if there is a DML available. Right? If there is no DML available, then trigger cannot be called. So what is the definition of a trigger? Trigger is an Apex program that gets executed before or after a specific DML event occurs. Trigger is an Apex program that gets executed before or after a specific DML event occurs is called trigger. Triggers are of two types. Write down types of triggers. Number one, before trigger, after trigger. Trigger are of two types. Before trigger, after trigger. Triggers are of two types. Before trigger, after trigger. Trigger are of two types. Before trigger, after trigger. Now put a heading called as before trigger. Put a heading called as before trigger. Trigger that gets executed. Trigger that gets executed Trigger that gets executed before a data is saved to the database. Trigger that gets executed before a data is saved to the database is called before trigger. Trigger that gets executed before a data is saved to the database is called before trigger. Trigger, right, which get executed before a data is saved to the database is called before trigger. Use, write down the use. Number one, in real time, where do you use before trigger? Number one, data validations. We use before trigger for data validations. Number two, calculations. Number two, calculations. Number three, pre-saving actions. Pre-saving actions. Number three, pre-saving actions. Got it? Next, second type, after trigger. After trigger. After trigger. Trigger that gets executed. Trigger that gets executed after a data is saved to the database. Trigger that gets executed after a data is saved to the database. Trigger that gets executed after a data is saved to the database is called after trigger. Is called after trigger. Right? What is after trigger? Right? Trigger that gets executed after a data is saved to the database is called after trigger. What is the use? Number one, alerts. Alerts. A-L-E-R-T, alert. Number two, submissions. Submission of workflow, submission of process builder, submission of approval builder, submission, bracket, process, approval, workflow, etc. Third, post saving actions. Post, earlier it was pre-saving, here it is a post saving. Prepaid, postpaid, post saving actions. Got it? Right? So trigger are of how many types? Two types. Before trigger, after trigger. Write down trigger properties. Put a heading called as trigger properties. Number one, triggers are DML dependent. Number one, triggers are DML dependent. Not there on the screen, so there is nothing to look. Number two, by default, every trigger is a bulk trigger. By default, every trigger is a bulk trigger. By default, every trigger is a bulk trigger. Bulk. B-U-L-K. Bulk trigger. Next. Right? Next. Triggers work irrespective of data source. Trigger works irrespective of data source. Trigger works irrespective of data source. Right? Next. Trigger uses trigger event. Trigger uses trigger event. Trigger uses trigger event to take a decision on firing. Trigger use trigger event to take decision on firing. ఎప్పుడు ఫైర్ అవ్వాలి, when it should fire, when it should run is decided by whom? Trigger event. So trigger requires trigger event. If there is no trigger event, trigger will not fire, right? So trigger will not fire in two cases. Number one, if there is no DML, if there is no trigger event, right? As we do, you'll be able to understand these points, right? Clear? Perfect. Next, write down, right? Trigger structure. Trigger structure. Here it is on the screen. It's there towards the bottom. Structure. Copy it. Trigger must use a keyword trigger. Actually, that is also one point in the properties. Trigger must use a keyword trigger. That is also one of the point in the properties. Trigger must use a keyword trigger. Right? Now the structure. Trigger, trigger name, on object name. Trigger, trigger name, on object name. In the bracket, trigger event. Followed by curly bracket, code block. It's there on the screen. Do you have a space in the properties? Inkoka tracha point. Right? Otherwise, write in the side. Triggers are object dependent. One more point. Triggers are object dependent. Perfect. Right. Now put a subheading called as trigger event. Put a subheading called as trigger event. Trigger event. Okay, in the properties, inkoka point rayacha. In the properties, one more point. Right? Side. Right? Edo itu. Right? Create space. Last. That is the last one. Trigger gets data from trigger context variable. Trigger gets data. Trigger gets data from trigger context variable. Trigger context variable. Batchable context, schedulable context, queuable context, ikkada kuda context. Trigger get data from trigger context. Batchable context, schedulable context, trigger context, trigger context variable. That's it, no more point. Now come to put a heading called as trigger event. Trigger event. What is the trigger event? The collection of trigger type plus DML. Collection of trigger type, trigger type and DML. Collection of trigger type and DML is called trigger event. Trigger event. Tell me, what are the types of triggers we have? Two. Before, after. What is the trigger event? Type plus DML. What are the DMLs we have? Insert, update, delete, delete. Don't go to merge and everything. Now, whenever you mix both, you get what? Trigger event. For example, before is a trigger type. What is the DML? Insert, before insert. Before update, before update. Before delete, before delete. Before undelete, before undelete. Next, what is the second trigger type? After insert. Insert is a DML. After update, after delete, after undelete. Remember that there is nothing called before undelete. Total 8 undale. 2 types, 4 DML. 2 types 4 table, 4 into 2, 8. But we have only 7. Endukante before undelete is not there. Ardhamautunda? Write down. Before insert, after insert. Before update, trigger events. These are trigger events. Write down. Number 1, before insert. Number 2, before insert, after insert. Next, before update, after update. Next, before delete, after delete. Last one, there is no before undelete, only after undelete.
Sir, I have your question.
Yes, tell me. Now I don't think that question, wait. You're still at a
Oh.
theoretical level. You don't know anything about triggers, so just relax,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Let us get in the stream now. We are still in off stream. Before insert, after insert. Before update, after update. Before delete, after delete. After undelete, there is no before undelete. 7th one is not there, before undelete. Remember this. Ardhamainda? Right? Perfect. Now let's see. ఈ ట్రిగర్ అంటే ఏంటిది? Let's understand. Right. Number 1, page layout. Page layout. Number 2, Visualforce page. Number 3, Apex. Lightning. Integration. Data loader. Data loader. Number 4, APIs. Tell me, what are the different ways a record can be created in Salesforce? Which are the places from where you can insert account, you can insert contact, you can insert passenger? Can I do with the help of a Visualforce page? Yes. Can you do with the help of a page layout? Yes. Whenever you click new button, the page layout loads. Can you do with the help of Apex? Yes.
Yes.
Account A equals to new account, A dot name, insert A. Can you do with the lightning component? Yes. Can I do with the integration? Yes. Can you insert a data with a data loader? Yes. In Excel sheet, you have all accounts. You upload, the data comes to the database, right? Any type of API, application programming interface, some integration programs. In Salesforce, data comes from these many locations. Inni chot nunchi data ravachu. Data doesn't come only with a new form, right? You can create a custom page, Visualforce page with a submit button, click submit, data gets created in the database. You can go ahead and create from where? Through a programming, account A equals to new account, A dot phone, A dot fax, insert A. You can create a data from a data loader, Excel sheet, open data loader tool, insert. Automatically you come and check account, you see that data is there. Trigger works irrespective of the source. Ekkad nunchi data vastundi, from wherever the data is coming, trigger doesn't care. Trigger will never care ever pampicharu. Who sent the data is not concern for triggers. Whoever sent it, trigger doesn't care. Trigger will never ask you the source, whether this account came from page, from a layout, from a data loader tool, right? It will not care. Irrespective of from where the data comes, trigger get fire. Trigger fire 2 types. What are those? Number 1, before. What is a before trigger? Before the data is reached, this is a line you see, right? And this is after. Once the data goes inside the database, then it is called after trigger. Suppose you are filling a form here. Let's assume that you have created a Visualforce page. Let's assume it is Visualforce page ankondi. You have a name, NAME name, phone, email. Let's assume that these are the fields available in the page. And there is a box. Then there is a box to enter the data, right? And then there is a button. This is the button. Now you fill the data. You fill the data name, Rupam. Phone number, 33333. Email address, r@r.com. Is it the data saved in the database? Is it the data is saved in the database? No. Where is the data now? It is still on the page. You are filling the data. Ante endidi. What does that mean, Rupam? Let me log in. CRM 12345 hash. Right? Now I go to my contact. Try to understand and visualize. Nenu asalu what I am trying to explain, try to visualize. I go to marketing, any module. I click on contact. I click on new. I say Mr. Rupam, last name CHAKRABORTY, phone number 888888, mobile number 888888, email address Rupam rupam.sfdc80@gmail.com. Tell me, can you send an email to this email address now? I want to send an email now. To whom? Hello Rupam. You are currently registering your details. Please click save to continue further. I want to receive an email. Can you send? Can you send yes or no? Ardhamautunda. Can you send
No,
an
Rupam. No,
Can you
sir.
send an email? Because from where will you get this email address? You know how to write email program. Email program require email address. Email address you can get it from where? From a database. Ee data database lo save ayinda kaaledi kada. The data is still on the gali. I cannot send. The data is still on the air. Suppose if I click on cancel, the data is lost. Yes or no? While I'm filling the data, can I send an email to sendemail@e.com? Can I send an email to this email address? From where will you get this email address? You can get back Ishwar, Ranveer, Nidhi, right? Reena, Shravan, you can send an email because you will write an SQL query. Select name, comma, phone, comma, email from contact where phone number is 8182. System will pull all the email address that you will pull in program and you will send an email. But now, from where will you get this email address? Can you write an SQL query on the Gali? Can you write an SQL query on the air? On the air, you cannot write. You could write only in the database. In such cases, we need triggers. See, I want to send an email. My business requirement is this. I want to send an email. Ela chestaru meeru? Ardhamautunda the importance of trigger, right? I'm giving you one scenario which you cannot do with the programming you have learned so far. Ippudu daka programming నేర్చుకున్నారు. You cannot cover the scenario. You cannot do it. You can send an email once the data is available inside the database. But currently the data is not in the database. But I want to send an email. Hi Rupam, thank you. You are filling the form. Great, complete fast and hit save. I want to send this email. In such case, what we need, see, It works before the data is saved. This is called as before trigger. This whole piece, right? This whole piece before the data, this is the deadline. This is the deadline. Ooh, because it's all connected. This line that you see, let me draw the line, red line again. This line that you see, right, divides the trigger into two. Before data is saved, if you want to do anything, send email, call this customer, right, check whether the phone number entry is correct or not, then you use what? Before trigger. Before trigger, what are the things available? Insert. Before you insert, you can fire an Apex code like sending email, right? Before update, before delete, before there is no one delete in before. Before trigger has only three: before insert, before update, before delete. Before deleting, inka delete kaledu, I want to send an email. Then you'll use before and delete. You have just changed the name. For example, let me go here. I click on cancel. I open Ishwar. I change Ishwar mobile number from 555 to 77888. I want to send an email to Ishwar. Can I send? Can I send? Yes, Ishwar is available in our database. But in that email, can you capture 888? No, because this data is not saved in the database. The data in the database is 555. Unless and until I hit save, till the time I don't hit save, what is the data in the database? I click on cancel. See, data has become what? 55555. I click on edit. I change from 555 to 888. In my email, can I capture 888? No. From where you will get this 888? It is in the Gali. I cannot write an SQL statement on a Gali. If I write a SQL statement, I can write on a database. If I write on a database, I will get 55555 unless and until I hit save. If I hit save, the data will be committed to the database. Then I can send. But my requirement is before update, I want to send an email. Hello, you are about to change 555 to 888. 555 is there in the database, you'll get it. But 888 is where? It is in the Gali. But I want to send an email. How can you do that? There is no way, whatever the things you have learned so far, ఇప్పుడు దాకా నేర్చుకునే కాన్సెప్ట్ is useless in this scenario. అర్థమవుతుందా? You will get 55555, but 8888 from where will you get? You cannot get this number. You will get Ishwar email address. That is also from a database. Suppose I change Ishwar email address to rupam@rupam.com. Can you send an email to this email address? No, because it is not yet saved. If I query the database, I will get Ishwar's email address, original email address. So these are called before update, before delete, before insert. Once the data goes to the database, then you can have insert, update, delete, undelete. Once the data goes to the database, then you can call after insert, after update, after delete, after undelete. Ardhamautunda triggers? Able to understand? Right? Triggers are of two types: before, after. Before a data is saved to the database, you want to launch a rocket, then you will call before trigger. After the data goes to the database, then you want to launch a rocket, then it is called after trigger. Inside that logic can be anything: sending email, launching rocket, dancing, deleting. Those all you know. But the whole concept of trigger is not the logic. It is how the logic will get executed. Trigger decide how the logic and when the logic. How and when. What you know. What మీకు తెలుసు? Send email. What? Send email. When? Before even the data is saved. That is what trigger is defining. అర్థమవుతుందా? Yes or no? By default, every trigger is a bulk trigger. What does that mean? From a page, how many data you can insert? One. But from a data loader, how many data you can insert? 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh. Right? Data loader, I can N. Data loader, I can have N. Right? API, N. Integration, N. Lightning, 1. Apex, N. Page layout, 1. Visual Force, 1. Page layout, I go here, I click on contact. I click on new. Can I insert 20 data at a time? No, only one by one. I have to click on save and new. How many data I just saved? 1. Then I fill another, save. So Visual Force also 1. Form also 1. Data loader, many. So see that I told you, irrespective of the source, trigger supports 1 and many. That is the reason triggers are called bulk triggers. Why triggers are called bulk triggers? Because triggers are irrespective of the source. Source can send single data, source can send multiple data. When you are entering a data with a page layout, you are sending single data. When you are sending a data from a data loader, you are sending n number of data. Both data will come to the trigger. Trigger can handle 1, trigger can handle many. Hence, trigger are called bulk trigger. Ardhamautunda? Yes sir, no? Yes sir, no sir. Everybody clear? Right? We still have a time. 12 minutes we'll utilize. We will make them to wait today. Right? Now, how to write a trigger? Keep watching. Setup, developer console, right? Triggers are object dependent, right? What is that trigger? Object dependent. Trigger are DML dependent. Trigger are event dependent. Event undale, DML undale, object undale. See, file, new, Apex trigger. TR, trigger, underscores, today's date, 12, underscore, example 1, underscore, PAS, passenger send email. My trigger is passenger send email. On which object? On passenger object. Passenger, submit. See, trigger must use a trigger keyword. Andike trigger ochindi. This is the name of the trigger. On object name. Now here you have to give the event. What are the events available? How many events are available? 7 events are available. How many events are available? 7 events are available. I will remove and I will put all the 7 events. First, BFORE, before INSERT, first event. Next, AFTR after, AFTR after INSERT. Next, BFORE before UPDAT update. Next, AFTR after UPDAT update. Next, BFORE before DELET delete, comma, AFTR after DELET delete. Next, AFTR after undelete, because there is no before and delete. All the 7 events I've taken. Now, what do you want to do? Whether you insert a data, one email has to go. Whether you update a data, email has to go. Whether you delete a data, email will go. Right? If you insert, 2 emails will go. One before inserting, one after inserting. Whenever you are editing a passenger, 2 emails will go. Before the data saved to the database, one email will go. After the data is saved, one email will go. You are deleting. Before deleting, one email will go. Once the data is deleted, another email will go. Whenever you are restoring from recycle bin, automatically one email will be sent. Right? Now keep watching. What is that class? Email class? What was the email class? again. Star AGAIN again. I told you this class is my favorite. Wherever I send email, I'll use it. Right? E equals to new email. Right? E dot. What was that? E dot to address. I'm sending it to me. Rupam dot sfdc80@gmail.com. Right? Next. E dot subject. E dot subject. What is the subject? A passenger was either created or edited or deleted or undeleted. Subject. E dot body. A passenger record. Okay.
Subject will be E dot subj, right? And in body and body.
Okay, no problem. Don't worry. Dot E dot embody. Right? Now E dot subject is equals to hi. Only hi. Subject is hi. Now E dot send email. Control S. What you have just done, I created a trigger on passenger table. When this trigger will fire, whenever you are inserting a data, before inserting it will fire. After inserting it will fire. Before update it will fire. After update it will fire. Before delete it will fire. After delete it will fire. What will it do? Anything that you write inside. Inside this you can write launching rocket, dancing, singing, deleting, updating, calculating. Low but logic మీకు తెలుసు అర్థమవుతుందా? my focus is not inside logic. Right? Inside logic is what? Sending email. Now you don't need to activate trigger. By default activate. Activate అయిపోయింది. Go ahead. What do you want to do? App manager, airline management. We will write so many triggers. Don't worry. All confusion will be clear. I click on new. I click on next. I give a passenger name. What is that? Test trigger. Passenger first name test, last name TRIGGER. Mobile number has to be 10 digit. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. As soon as I hit save, before saving, one email will go. Once the data reaches the database, another email will go. Save. Now let's go ahead and check. I should have 2 emails. Gmail. I should have 2 emails. Hi. See, can you see 2 here? When I open, there are 2 emails. First email, same time, 0 second, 0 second. See, same email. A passenger was either created, edited or deleted. One was sent before even the data is got to the database, one email was sent. Immediately when the data got inserted in the database, one email was sent. 2 emails. Similarly, I open my passenger again. Now I change it. Now I change anything I will change. I'm changing the phone number to something. As soon as I hit the save button, now what is the event? Update. Before update, one email has to go. After update, one email has to go. Same email, save. Again, 2 emails will be sent. Again, 2 emails will be sent. See, total 4. Earlier 2, now it's showing 4. Again, 2 was sent. See, 56, 56. Rondo. Same email. Don't see the content of the email now. Content, sir. How can we include that this email was sent before, after? That we all will do tomorrow. Ee roj email poinda leda ante. Next, I go ahead and I delete. Before deleting, one email will go. After deleting, one email will go. So I should be able to see 6. Delete. Are you sure to delete? Yes. Now I should have 6 here. 5. Wait, it'll become 6. See? 6. Next, I go to the recycle bin. App manager. View all. I go to the recycle bin. Now from there, I'm restoring the passenger. How many email will go? 1. Because there is no before undelete, only after undelete. I click on restore. Done. Passenger got restored to the passenger table. When you come, 7. See, total 7 email has gone. All my events are working. Whenever this event occur, one event, one action. 2 event got at a time. The same thing was called twice. Anduke rendu email poyindi. Able to understand 10% of the event, how the event is working? I don't need to require activation, right? Events are object dependent. You create contact, email will not go because the event was created on passenger. So only when you create a passenger, then only the event will go. Clear, everyone? Right? So events are object dependent. Event are insert, update. These are all DML dependent, right? Events are object dependent, DML dependent. Remember this, right? Clear? Tomorrow we will see trigger context variable. Tomorrow I will start trigger.new and trigger.new map, right? After 3 classes, everything will be very crystal clear for you. First 3 classes, lot of questions will be there. Hold on. Hold with your questions. Whatever is going on, focus only on that. How idi, how adi, how ala, ila, gokakandi. No gokings. Wait for 3 days, then start scratching. Right? Perfect. Clear? Right. We'll meet tomorrow again at the same time. Thank you. Have a nice and wonderful day. Keep practicing whatever the homework I gave you for Batch Apex or asynchronous services, do it. Right? Similarly for triggers also, I'll give you a lot of homeworks from tomorrow. Trigger homeworks will start. Right? So get ready. Thank you guys. Bye-bye guys. Take care.